In this episode, we'll learn about the most important things you need to know about your child's first month. Hi, I'm Dr. Amaka Namani, pediatrician and author of Zero's Quest Mommy's Milk Rocks. Welcome to the Dr. Amaka Namani Show, where we emphasize preparation over perfection. In our last episode, we learned about our first pediatrician visit. Thank you for all the nice comments that people sent directly to me. Feel free to leave your comments in the comment section. I'd like to see how this is helping, what you want to learn more about, what's not working. It helps me create what I feel like is more important for you. So let's get right in. So in this episode, we'll talk about a few things that we need to know about in your child's first month. We'll start off with weight gain. So what's an appropriate weight gain for your child in the first month? As pediatricians, we typically want to see anywhere from about 25 to 30 grams per day of weight gain. Now, no, you don't need to put your child on a scale and say, hey, after every feed, let's see how much you're gaining, or at the end of every day. We don't need to know that, and you don't need to see that. You don't need to do that. Like I mentioned in our last few episodes, the most important thing that you want to know is that lets you know if your child is really getting enough is the number of wet diapers your child is making. So we usually want to see at least 4 to 5 or to 6 wet diapers. Like I said, most babies will make more than that, but that's a good amount that lets you know, okay, well, I'm getting my baby's getting enough. And again, your pediatrician is there to guide you through all of it. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to your pediatrician. Now, your baby is probably being fed breast milk or formula. It's really important to know that your child does not need any other fluids besides breast milk or formula. The child does not need water or any form of milk or juice or teas. I know different cultures have different beliefs, but it's really important to know that you have everything that your baby needs, especially if you're breastfeeding. And if you're formula feeding, again, your baby does not need anything more than formula. Now, for moms who are breastfeeding, you really want to make sure you are taking your supplements, right? Like your prenatals. So continue to take those. But importantly, you also need to take vitamin D because we know that not enough comes through the breast milk. So it's important that you get your levels up where they need to be. So most babies, especially in the US, need that. Now, if you're in a country where you are out a lot in the sunshine, you may not need as much vitamin D as a lot of us here who may not really get a lot of outside time. Now, with that said, with the weight gain, now we want to talk about your child's development, right? Like, how do I know my child is meeting their milestones? So a few things. Your child usually will be able to lift their head up in a prone position. And a lot of babies at this month are beginning to regard faces. So they can't really see well, but you'll notice that they're kind of what we call tracking. So if somebody walks into the room, your baby will just kind of follow. It's a pretty exciting milestone, I think, to observe. And then sleep. So we talked briefly about it in our last 2 episodes, I believe, where we talked about your child doesn't really have a circadian rhythm. Your child does not know wake time, sleep time. But around this time is when you really continue to set the rhythm for your child, right? So during the day, make sure that you are leaving the blinds open or windows open, talk in your normal voice, and then as the evening comes, you can use your level 1 voice, your evening voice, and start having a bedtime routine, right? So most babies now will sleep for 3 to 4 and even 5-hour stretches. So it's okay if your baby sleeps for up to 5 hours at this time, especially if your baby's gaining weight appropriately. A lot of babies will sleep for about 16 to 17 hours, and a lot of the other time is, again, some awake time. Now, in terms of other things, so usually the baby's umbilical cord falls right around week 2 or so. If your baby's cord has not fallen around 3.5 weeks, I usually recommend that you see your pediatrician because we want to make sure that everything is okay. Because by that time, we usually expect that most babies would have had their cord fall. Now, there's no medical recommendation to save your cord. That is a personal preference preference. I have met moms who want to keep that. That is really up to you, but not something you need to do. Other things are bath time. So you want to make sure that the temperature that you use to bathe your baby is safe, right? So I always say test it with the back of your palm and make sure it's, warm or lukewarm, and not too cold or too hot for your baby. And very, very, very importantly is never, ever, ever, ever shake your baby. Right around this time is when we notice we start to see like the witching hour, a lot of us will call it. So this is where a lot of babies will be fussy a lot, and we don't really know why. So a lot of times you may find that your baby is crying around the same time. A lot of times it's usually in the evenings or middle of the night. I remember with our first child, who is now 14, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was like clockwork. It was like 7 p.m. We would literally, my husband and I would literally like sit and wait for it, and yep, it would happen. And she was almost inconsolable, right? And it's nothing wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. We're not exactly sure why this happens, but a few things you can try is hopefully if you have a partner, you can switch places. Other things are some babies will actually really respond to the sound, like harsh noises. So like white noise or the sound of a vacuum cleaner or a washing machine. We think that that harsh sound helps to distract them from the pain we think that they're feeling. And then if nothing else works, you may have to just wait it out. But like I said, never, ever, ever shake your baby. I have seen very well-meaning parents do things just in a split second of overwhelm, and bad things have happened. I say I've never seen a baby that died from crying, right? So what I mean is it's okay to put your baby down in a safe place. So like their crib or bassinets. And if you need to go into a bathroom or the garage and scream into a pillow or just flat out scream, it's okay. We'd rather you do that than shake your baby. Your hormones are also still very high if you're as a mom. So it's very overwhelming, right? So again, be sure to surround yourself with people that are supportive. Ask for help. There is no weakness in asking for help. Be sure to do that, and be sure to, if you have a mom group in your area, I find having a mom support group normalizes these things for you, so you realize you are not the only one going through these things. And then something I meant to say earlier, right around the feeding, is cluster feeding also happens around this time, between 4 and 6 weeks. So what does that mean? It means that a baby who may have been feeding every 2 to 3 hours may now want to feed like every 45 minutes, like literally. There is nothing wrong with your breast milk if you're breastfeeding, or you as a mom, or there's no hole that your baby has. It's just a rapid period of growth that then normalizes after about a week or so. So it's important to know that. And then, some red flag things to watch out for are temperature. So if your baby has a rectal temperature over 100.4 degrees, that is an emergency. So that you want to take that baby, bypass your doctor's office, go straight to the ER. If your baby obviously turns blue around the lips, if they're not making at least 4 to 5 wet diapers in a 24-hour period, and or if they are just being lethargic and just not wanting to feed. So lastly, there are other normal rashes that we find in babies. You see babies have newborn acne. So yes, babies can have acne. So it does look like regular acne. A lot of times it's on the face. There's really nothing for you to do. It's mostly from estrogen withdrawal, and it'll normalize usually within a couple weeks. If it bothers you, you can see your pediatrician. I have seen moms who use breast milk and it works. Breast milk has a lot of immune properties, so it's safe to use your breast milk on the rash if you feel like if you're comfortable with doing that. There's also other types of rashes that may be more helpful for you to see. We've got cutis marmorata, which is a type of rash that happens with vessel dilation. So when your baby is cold, those rashes will come on, and then babies can start having almost like a newborn eczema. So a fancy name for it is atopic dermatitis. So I always recommend that you wash your baby's clothing with, and everything that really comes in contact with your skin, with the baby's skin. So like baby blankets or bed sheets, that you wash it with detergents that are fragrance free. And no dryer sheets, like scented dryer sheets or anything like that. So I hope this has been informative for you. If you have any questions or comments about what this has done for you, please leave them in the comments. Share this with the mom in your life. And until then, I will see you on the next one, where we will talk about your baby's second month, what to expect, vaccines, and all of that stuff. Until then, bye-bye. Remember, preparation over perfection. Take care. Toodles.